Hey guys, Gary Kraus, and do you want to learn how to buy a dropshipping business and scale it to 6 and 7 figures and beyond? Well, I just spoke to Matt Scott, and he's built many of his own dropshipping businesses, scaled them up to 7 figures plus, and he's also just recently bought his first dropshipping business. So in this episode, Matt and I talk about how he scaled his business to 7 figures through hiring correctly, and how to manage his team, and how he grew the culture of his team to help him grow his business. We also talk about the different types of marketing Matt does for dropshipping and why he advertises on those platforms. We also talk about how he does content marketing and a little bit of SEO marketing. And then we also talk about why Matt decided to move some of his business over from just dropshipping to doing self-product distribution with his staff in his own warehouse, and how that's affected his life and helped him achieve a better lifestyle for himself. So if you're looking to buy a dropshipping business or scale your dropshipping business, go away and listen to this episode from a gun who's great at dropshipping. Hey everyone, Jared Kraus, host of the Buying Online Businesses podcast. And today I get to speak with a fellow dropshipper. His name's Matt Scott. He's from Lifestyle Flipper. And much like myself, he has multiple dropshipping businesses. He started a few from scratch, built them up to 2.5 plus mil of revenue, has a few different e-commerce sites. And the last one he actually he bought from a friend of his. So we're just talking about how much of a different experience that is to starting from scratch. So Matt, talk to me, what did you learn about buying that last business?
Well, firstly, thanks for having me on the show, Jared. It's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be on a guest on a podcast. Yeah, so I guess the difference between purchasing a business and one that I would start from scratch, it was just so much quicker. I've listened to a few of your early podcasts, and that's something that you were talking about in those too. That it's having an idea and chasing that and not knowing if it's going to work, that is a huge time investment, right? So
yeah,
I've got to, much like you probably have a million and one ideas buzz around in your head, and you're sort of governed by the amount of time that you have to how many of those you pursue. But with an existing business that my friend was looking to offload, I could see all the previous sales history. I could see the stats. I could see the areas of opportunity, which I knew that I could, plug my team into and be able to, just leverage off that. So, yeah, that was my first purchase, the one that I just purchased, my last dropshipping store that I just purchased back in February. And it was a great experience, and something I probably should have looked at doing a lot earlier.
Well, unlike me, you actually had success in your startups, and I was struggling for a bit. Actually, most people may not realize that are listening to this, but I came back from one of my trips, and I did start a drop shipping store, and I wanted to sell travel products because I was so into traveling, and I was getting on the phone with Camelback and all these different types of backpacking and camping accessory places. And I built this store. It's called Globetrotter Gear. And I made a couple of sales, but I just thought, I'm going to get this site together and people are going to pour in and start buying without me having to do any advertising whatsoever, or at least some social media marketing.
The dream.
Yeah, the dream, but that's not realistic. So
No, that's it. And I think a lot of people have that same sort of, that drive and that goal, and that same realization that, it's not easy. It's not easy to build something from scratch. And yeah, as you said before, if you've got an existing business there, a model that already works, if you can capitalize on that, it's often a smarter choice.
Yeah. So that's a route I guess you'd be going down again if you're gonna go down this way.
Yeah, definitely. I think I always struggle to have a big long-term plan. I'm very much a short to medium term plan person, because things seem to change quickly, and when small changes, happen or opportunities come up, they can often affect, your long-term plans. Like if you had asked me 2 years ago what my long-term plan was, it would have been, completely different to what I might say it would be now. Right. So after going through that process of buying a store, that kind of changed my perspective on, what I should be focusing on for growth. So before purchasing a store really wasn't on my radar, because I thought, okay, I've already built 2 stores that were successful. Yes, I have also built other stores that weren't successful too, but my success rate was fairly good. So I was always, thinking, yeah, I should just, build from scratch. That way, the actual money, like the cost investment is quite low. But as the business evolves and, I've got a young daughter, I've got a wife, I don't want to be spending all my time, just grinding without results all the time. So time becomes more important than money in some circumstances. So yeah, definitely buying a store is, buying future stores is definitely on my radar.
Yeah. Because you can always earn more money, right, Matt? But you can't earn more time.
No, that's it. Exactly right. We've only got a limited amount of time here.
Yeah. So I love that you got into this for the lifestyle, and so many people do that, and then that becomes a part. The business becomes a part of their lifestyle, and it consumes them. So that's something we can talk about soon. But you've got 6 staff now, full-time staff. You've got a warehouse. You've got multiple businesses, dropshipping businesses. Like, you obviously started out somewhere and started scaling. So what are some of the things, like some successes and some of the things that you did, like 2 to 4 ways maybe somebody who's bought a store, a drop shipping store, could go away and implement some of those things to start scaling? Like, where would you start with that?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. One of the things that I've always liked to focus on is trying to become a marketer. So like my previous experience is in construction. So much like you, I come from a trade sort of background. I had no idea, what marketing was or what this, traffic generation, SEO, all these abbreviations that, now roll off the tongue. I had no idea what they all meant. Right. So, but one of the things that I sort of was taught earlier on, and I'm glad I taught this. I'm glad I realized it was, yeah, you've got to focus on being a marketer. If when you start a business or when you're a business owner, you wear all the hats, right? You've got to be, able to, speak to customers. You've got to, manage your finances. You've got to, bring traffic in the door, this and that, social media. But the one I think you should, for me at least anyway, it was really important to focus on the marketing side of things. So being a marketer, bringing traffic in the door, knowing how to do that profitably. And I just consumed as much content as I could, followed courses and continually learnt more and more and more about, different marketing techniques and, what works, what doesn't. And of course, testing. So not just learning, constantly testing. That's something that I keep doing, even to this day. Like I have 3 active stores and I still manage all of the AdWords accounts myself. I still manage all of our Facebook marketing. I have someone that does our content marketing for us, and our SEO, but they're all in-house. So we have, we're focused on keeping everything in-house and, building on our own knowledge as much as possible.
Yeah, awesome. So marketing, right? Like, I've been taught that if you can master marketing and you can master sales, you can master life. And marketing and sales goes hand in hand. Like, if you do good marketing, then you can make sales. And a lot of what you learn in sales can be reverted back into marketing as well. And this is like, a lot of people come to me and like, I want to buy a business and all that sort of stuff, right? And sure, they jump in and they become a part of the community, but they may not realize how important it is, how important marketing actually is to have under your belt, at least a little bit of it, an understanding, a little bit of it before you buy a business or start to grow a business. And that's why I'm so adamant about, like, I do different trainings into my community for like Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Google ads, SEO, all those things, because you can buy a business, but unless you don't understand how to grow it, if something's not growing, it's dying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Completely agree with all that. And we actually briefly touched on this before we hit the record button. I think, as well as marketing, you still, as you just said, have to have at least a brief understanding of all the different components within your business. So one of the things that I like to do before I grow, before I, outsource something, before I automate something, I at least have a firm grasp of the knowledge of how it works first before you go and hand it out to someone else. So, marketing might not be your thing. It's my thing, right? I love it, and that's, everyone's different, right? But if marketing's not your thing, you've at least got to know what is, know what's good and what's not good, before you go ahead and, try and outsource that.
Like have a brief outline of like what's important in marketing. Like you need maybe good copy, good images, understanding your audience, the language. There's so many, I guess we could just go on, like there's people that have their whole career built on marketing and podcasts. Like I would suggest people go and listen to some marketing podcasts because, and this is something, you're exactly right. Like this is something that I tell my clients is like, all right, I bought a business. Who should I get to do my marketing? I'm like, it's great. You want to grow it. But when you outsource something, you need to be able to be really careful that you don't outsource one thing, and that's called responsibility.
Yeah.
Because when people outsource the work, often they think they're outsourcing their responsibility as well. And I've been a victim, like I've done this myself and I've just totally stuffed up and lost a lot of money.
I have too, so don't worry.
I think we all do it as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I want everybody listening is like, don't outsource your responsibility. And I believe when my clients come to me, I believe that it's really important for me to tell them that like, hey, understand a brief outline. Even if you do hire an agency, get them to teach you a little bit about what they're doing so you can get the understanding to see, oh, well, Matt, that doesn't really make sense. And if you go use somebody else, you get another brief understanding. And I think that's probably the best education you can get is like learn it yourself before you outsource it. I mean, we were just talking about that before, right? Like you've scaled to 6 full-time staff. Like tell me a little bit about that. Like how did you do your first hire and then do another hire? And then how did that work for you? Because I know a lot of people listen to this, like want to buy a dropshipping business and they want to scale it.
Yeah. Now that's a good question. So as soon as I hired my first full-time staff member, I think it was late 2016 maybe. And she's still with me now. She's my business manager. So she oversees for like the 2 IC. She oversees the whole business. And I found my business manager. Or at the time, she was hired just as a sales rep for the store, right? So to free up my time, I decided to outsource the customer service. So answering the phone, emails, live chat, and so on. That was the thing that made the most sense to me, and what was taking up most of my time. So that allowed me to work on the business rather than in the business and being in the trenches. I was able to have that 30,000 foot view and see, okay, what do I need to do now that this portion of my time is freed up. I think I found her on Online Jobs PH. So all my staff are based in the Philippines.
Yep.
They're all actually based really close to each other in around Manila. And earlier on this year, I actually went over and hung out with them and met them all. And we've got a really good team culture, like a really good tight-knit team. And I think that's really important to focus on. A lot of people, when they look at outsourcing, they think that, you can just find someone overseas, give them a task, forget about it and wipe your hands clean of it. But my view on outsourcing is that it's exactly the same as having someone in your office sitting right next to you.
Yeah.
The only difference is that they're not physically there, right? You have to have to take care to nurture great relationships, to spend time with training and making sure they're happy, things like that. We do performance reviews every quarter. We've got chats that are open we all communicate on all day, every day.
Yeah.
We have meetings every week. So it's just like a normal office space, right? But, they're just not physically sitting right there next to me. You asked me how we went about from going 1 to 6. I think a lot of our hires, I think probably 50% were actually, friends or family, of someone that, works with us now.
Yep.
Either friends or someone that they worked with. So we try and keep it, we try and go off recommendations as much as we can, but we're just about to hire a 7th person, and she, she was someone through my team's social network, so someone that passed on an ad to someone else and, came through those sort of channels. But we still go through the same vetting process as what we did, in the beginning. We make sure that everyone, ticks all the right boxes before they jump on board and join the team. Yeah, that's because, as I said, company culture and, team culture is hugely important to us and to the success of our business.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you said that. And for people listening, I want to highlight how the value there is in hiring based off recommendation and people that know people that want work or have worked with them previously. And the reason I believe this is so good and helps success so greatly is because, yes, culture is very, very important, and it's really, really hard to create that. But when you're teaching something, skill and talent that's something that can be learned. Whereas it's a lot harder to just learn and teach people culture and get that embedded. But if you hire based on expanding the culture because of networking, then I believe that if you teach them the right skills and you're great at, obviously you're good at teaching and coaching and making sure that you're there for your staff, like that is a great tip for outsourcing, because you can always teach talent. You can always teach those skills. It's something that can be learned. So
yeah, for sure. Like when we're looking at hiring, we used to look at, the past experience they had and the skills that they've got and whatnot. But now the most important question is, will they fit in with our team? Do they have the same, attitude towards business and towards, taking care of our customers as what we do? Because if they don't, we can't teach that. As you just said, that can't be taught, that we can't teach someone to be able to fit in with our team and to adopt our company culture. But we can teach, we can teach skills. We can teach phone skills, or, if it's someone doing our accounting, we can teach them accounting skills or whatnot, but other things we can't.
Yeah, cool. And so with drop shipping, like, what are some of the ways, like we talked about marketing before, what are some of the ways that you like to market your drop shipping business? Like you said, you do Google ads. Is that because of the type of product? What's the marketing on a weekly or monthly basis look like for you, for somebody? Because you need to scale, use obviously some money, what you put in is what you get out. So what does that look like for you in scaling a drop shipping business, for everybody listening?
All of my stores are high ticket dropshipping stores. So that means that the average price point is, in excess of $500. Awesome. So the difference between a high ticket dropshipping store and what you'd call like low ticket or AliExpress type store is that to acquire a customer, it still costs, the same amount, right? So if I'm out there spending, let's just say, $20 to acquire a customer, for example.
Yeah.
For my high ticket dropshipping stores, I can comfortably, pay that $20 to acquire that customer, because, the profit on a $1,000, $2,000, $10,000 sale, definitely covers it, versus, low ticket dropshipping. If you pay $20 to acquire a customer, the profit, the product itself might cost $20. So that's sort of to give everyone a bit of an understanding of the business models that I have. How I scale, I think with every ad account, we focus a lot on Google ads, so we focus a lot on finding people who actually want the products that we have.
Yeah.
So looking for looking in, for a warm audience, if you will. So they're already aware of the product. They already know what they want. They're out there actively looking for it.
Looking for it, as opposed
Exactly.
to Facebook. It's just land in your lap type thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So going after those warm targets first is massively important. So go after the most low hanging fruit first. So these people are looking for it. Be great at putting your product in front of them. All right. So that for us, like the easiest and the things we do first is Google Shopping ads, and then we also do text ads. We do dynamic remarketing on Google as well, and then from there we follow up with Facebook remarketing. And once we've sort of covered the whole warm audience, then we start to branch out a little bit more and go, okay, we've hit our ceiling with our warm audience, and you kind of know when you've hit your ceiling when your return on investment or your ROAS, starts to drop. The more money you put towards your ad accounts, it doesn't really equal more profit in your bank account at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you hit your ceiling then, and then that's when we start looking at our colder audiences. So when we start focusing a little bit more on Facebook and Instagram and social media, more brand awareness type of marketing from there.
Yeah, excellent. And so for people listening, like knowing your CPA, which is cost per acquisition, is the most important thing in business, because if you don't know that, you should not be trying to scale, because you're going to try and put money into something and you don't know how much it's going to cost you to acquire a customer or a client. And you've got I've got a high ticket drop shipping business as well. And it's not crazy high ticket. It's not in the tens of thousands of dollars, but it does help being able to acquire a customer for, $20 or something like that. Whereas the reason I like this is because it means less customer support and less work, because it's less orders, but more money, as opposed to if you want to scale a lower ticket item, say you're selling apparel or shoes as drop shipping, which is just a tough gig unless you got a really good brand. Mm-hmm. Then you need to be moving a lot more products. And maybe you only make a $10 to $20 profit margin, but it means a lot more sales, which means a lot more customer support, which can also cost you more money as well. So
exactly,
I really like that. You stated that you're doing a kind of high ticket, because that works for a lot of people wanting to start, especially if you're starting out. You don't want to be trying to scale something by selling a high volume of product. And so I love that you're doing Google ads. Mm-hmm. And that's what I do with one of my drop shipping businesses as well, and no Facebook ads, because of the same reason, guys, like I mentioned, is that people that get ads on Facebook is it may land in their lap and they may just not want it there. And it's just annoying. And it's in the way, as opposed to people that are going into Google and typing in the search bar, please help me solve my problem with this product. It's like, oh, hey, presto, it's there. And it's
exactly.
Easy. So
one of the other things that we also do focus on, and it's kind of it is kind of marketing in a way, is, and we've done this from the start, is focusing on customer satisfaction above all else. So if a customer comes through our doors, to our website, our goal is to ensure that the customer walks away satisfied. So they've come to us with a problem or a need or a desire, and it's our responsibility. And this is taught through everyone in our team. It's our responsibility to make sure that customer walks away happy, whether they purchase or not. Mm-hmm. And over time, the people realize this, and that has a flow-on effect. They start telling their friends, and they start leaving positive reviews, and you get some really great customers that are happy to go out of their way to express how pleased they are with your business. So focusing on customer service and customer satisfaction is something, it's kind of a marketing technique that we do, and I think it's a golden rule that should be applied to every business. I see so many businesses do it so badly, especially local businesses, brick and mortar type of old school businesses, right? They do such a poor job of it that it makes me wonder, if you just kept your customers happy, I would tell 10 friends, and you'd have 10 more customers walk in the door.
Yeah, which is the best marketing tactic. And then that's just also on top of the marketing tactic of getting good testimonials and case studies that you can plaster all over your website as well.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
and so I want to talk about some of the content that you're doing in SEO. But firstly, I don't want to forget this question, which is about some of your stores you've taken from drop shipping to self-product distribution type style. And that may be counterintuitive for some people because they may want the lifestyle where they don't have to do, send out products themselves or whatever, although you have staff. Why did you transition that way, and how did that work, and what sort of, how did that add more value to your business?
When I first started my businesses, the number one goal was to replace my income and have a flexible lifestyle. So I was able to do that, quite quickly. And we did the whole nomad thing. Like I got a wife, I got a daughter. We sold our house, we packed up, we moved over to Thailand. We did all that, but during that process, we realized that that wasn't for us as a family. Like, we enjoyed it, and we're so glad that we did it. But traveling full time wasn't really our thing. And through that process, I realized that business was my thing. Like, I'm a workaholic. I'm one of those sick people that enjoys coming to work every day and, getting up on Monday and, and having to come in. So
Yeah.
we're those weirdos. So I realized that, that was what motivated me. So yes, over time I've sacrificed the lifestyle, freedom, if you will, a little bit, but I'm chasing my personal goals of, growing successful businesses, which is something that I enjoy doing. So the reason why I went from, drop shipping to, starting our own brand and selling our own products, and now we're actually getting our products into physical stores as well, is, purely because I'm chasing that growth. Like, I see that opportunity there within our business.
Yep.
We've got, 3+ years worth of customer data, saying that, hey, we want these products. They don't exist.
Yeah.
We think this would work really well. We see all these things, and our current suppliers don't have the solution for it. So we, naturally saw, okay, here's an opportunity. Let's go out and find suppliers that will make these for us, brand them as our own, and, go from there. So that's worked really well. I started importing a bit over 12 months ago, so 12, 18 months ago. And it's, that's probably been the steepest learning curve of all, but it's, it's really enjoyable for me personally, being able to go overseas, find suppliers, create your own product, create something that's entirely yours, and then see the feedback from customers on what you've created.
Yeah. I'm the same as you. I did the whole travel thing. I'd been traveling on and off for 8 years, and that's why I started buying businesses. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to live this awesome lifestyle. And I was like overseas, and I had like 3 businesses, and I was making this money, and I was like, I'm kind of bored now. Like, I found myself like spending time on my businesses whilst I was like in these exotic locations and the surf's pumping, and I'm just like I'll get out of the surf and I'll go to work. And I'm like, well, what? I just came home and I just started digging into what I was trying to have. This is the thing that I think we all do, and this is getting quite philosophical, but I was trying to have the lifestyle that society told me that I should have to be happy. So I went and chased that whole lifestyle where everybody was posting all over the social media of like, yeah, I get to live this lifestyle and do this sort of stuff. And I did it. But it wasn't like the core heart within me of like what I actually really wanted and loved and enjoyed. And still I do love travel, but not for a year by myself.
You've got to do that though, don't you?
Yeah,
like,
you've got to get through it.
You've got, like, if you subscribe to this whole, entrepreneur type thing, you can't avoid it. You're going to hear about Thailand. You're going to hear about, these people living here and there. And it's almost like a rite of passage that you actually have to go and, try it and do it. But then, as you said there, like you realize that, okay, might be, that might be everyone else's goal or what everyone else wants to do. But for me, it's, it's a little bit more like this, so just like you, we still go on family holidays and travel and whatnot. But yeah, it's just not for, as you said, it's not for 6 months. It's not for a year.
Yeah. And I think that's really important is like, as an entrepreneur, you go on this journey and you start chasing the success. And I feel like when you get a certain level of it, you're like, actually, what do me really want for me and my family and all that sort of stuff. And I'm so glad that you've found that. And that's probably the best thing that's probably one of the best achievements that we could all ever make, really.
Yeah, for sure.
And so let's touch on one last thing is content. You mentioned you got people that are doing content in-house.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of content are they doing? Is it like articles optimized for SEO? Are you doing SEO type of work these days? Like, what does that look like for you guys?
SEO has been something that's never really been one of my strong suits. I have a good understanding of the fundamentals, of course, like as we discussed earlier, but actually doing the work, like putting in the work to work on SEO has never been something that's usually that I'm really good at. The main part of SEO, which I guess is kind of one of our strong suits, is the on-page SEO. So everything on our website, we are aware every piece of content that we write has a purpose. All right. So we focus a lot on the most important parts of our website. So that would be our product pages. That's what attracts a lot of our customers. Our collection pages as well, ensuring that there's good content on there that's helpful for people too. With dropshipping, a lot of people tend to forget about actually not just writing for Google and trying to show up for certain keywords, but writing for people, writing in the correct tone for your audience, and having the right amount of information there in a good structured way. And that the SEO side of things, like Google's getting smarter and smarter with their ranking algorithms.
Yeah.
We kind of focus on the customer first when we're creating our content, and with the realization that Google's getting smarter and smarter, they're just going to be focusing more on what customers like anyway. So we try and target towards customers. We are doing a little bit of outreach now, trying to do a little bit of link building. It's early days, but we're creating, just for one of our stores, we've just created a what do we call it? The name of the thing. It's like a list, like a list post. So it lists all of the major physical stores for this certain product, which is like a related product to ours throughout Australia. Yeah. So we created one of the, like a massive list post there, reached out to all these companies, and in the hopes to get backlinks from them, and also to help really people looking for that particular product. They might be looking for one of those and then realize, we do something that's like a complementary product to that. But yeah, a lot of it's on page. We're doing like explainer sort of videos that we post up on YouTube as well. We've created some really handy guides and things, but most of it's customer centric.
Yeah, I love that it's customer centric, because you're right. Google is so on point these days that when somebody reads an article, they go to a page on your site, Google's going to track how long they're actually there. So it doesn't matter whether like it's going to be text SEO friendly for Google. It's like, I think a lot of it is dependent, like how long are people consuming that content, because it's like in their tone, like you said.
Yeah.
And that's going to matter all the difference.
Yeah, for sure. I think the one thing with SEO that people should do from the start is to know the best, the best practices. Just learn the core basics, because then you'll be able to see, say if you purchased a business, or you're looking at purchasing a business, if you go ahead and look at the structure of the website, you can see instantly, okay, this is really good, or this is really bad, or this is where I can improve. But just knowing those core fundamentals is hugely important, I think.
Yeah, kind of like what was talking about marketing is like having a good understanding of it really helps. So
Yeah.
Matt, thank you so much. Really grateful that you came on and just shared some awesome knowledge. It was very valuable. Where can people go and find out more about you?
Yeah, they can check out my website, lifestyleflipper.com. I post up blog posts there. I've also got a podcast as well, although I'm not as active as you on your one. It's called the Lifestyle Flipper Show. But yeah, head over to the website and be sure to drop me a line if you've got any questions from there.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And for everybody listening, I know that you want to go away and buy these dropshipping sites because you just learned so much about how to scale them, but you don't want to go away and buy a lemon, right? So I'm giving away some free tools to everybody, Matt. I give away a free due diligence framework that people can go away and download. And it tells you exactly like what types of things you need to look for in a business when you're doing the due diligence in different things of marketing, SEO, traffic, financials, and how to really check them correctly. A lot of different questions in there. Helps you take a lot of guesswork out of like buying a site and doing due diligence. And then I also have a free website evaluator tool for you guys that want to know whether you should be spending more time looking into and doing due diligence on a website or not. It saves you a lot of money as well, preventing you from buying bad businesses. So guys, go away and grab that on my site, buyingonlinebusiness.com/free resources. If you did like this, please let me know by liking, subscribing, sharing it, and also leave a review letting me know what you actually liked about this episode so I can bring more of that to the show for you. Thanks, guys. See ya.
For sure. Thanks.